Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Chairman. Senator Hawley pointed out that in his state, fentanyl is the leading cause of death. In fact, fentanyl is the leading cause of death in the United States. It is the, by far, leading cause of death of working and fighting age Americans 18 to 45. So China and their efforts to send precursors of fentanyl through Mexico and the cartels then moving those, surging those over our border over the last administration has caused devastation to our nation, our families, its stability. And it was shocking to me that as this was occurring, that the president of Mexico at the time said that the drug crisis, and we know that they are losing over 100,000 people a year, which to put in perspective, when Nancy Reagan first said just say no, we lost 3,000 a year. It is an American problem. Why would we help? We are Mexico first. And immediately thereafter, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, said that Mexico was a great partner. And it is refreshing to have a president now in office that recognizes they need to use tools, not only a voice and accurately, but the tools available to them, tariffs and otherwise, to strengthen that border and get Mexico to assist. And we have shut down that border, almost 100% difference from this time last year. But I think it's refreshing to hear someone with your experience, firsthand experience, talk about the challenges of dealing with Mexico, not only in how they address the problem and whose it is, but how they oversee and hold accountable their own personnel. And I think you would be hard-pressed to find any law enforcement agent that works with Mexico that says that they do not have a real problem with corruption. And anybody that assumes otherwise or doesn't know enough to talk about that intelligently, that is in leadership, really needs to dig in to the history of law enforcement and cooperation with Mexico. Do I have your word moving forward that you will use all the tools at your disposal to ensure that Mexico not only assists us with cleaning up and addressing the criminals that are here, that shipped drugs here, continue to terrorize our communities? Will you demand vocally and with our administration that we hold the Mexican government as well as the cartel members accountable?
Yes, Senator, I will.
Do you agree that the cartels are, in fact, foreign terrorist organizations?
Yes, Senator, they are.
And did you hold that belief emphatically before President Trump had the courage to designate that by executive order?
Yes, I did.
And do you believe that will go a long way into ensuring we can not only determine who is in our country right now that shouldn't be, but also in tackling the opioid and fentanyl crisis?
Yes, Senator, it's an all-hands-on-deck approach, as we spoke about yesterday, and including our state and local partners in the middle of this fight to save every American citizen we can is critical.
And do you also believe it is a priority? And I, for one, I'm sure you did under the last administration, pled with the last administration to declare the cartels foreign terrorist organizations, which they refused to do. Thankfully, right away, this president did. Do you believe that identifying members of these organizations and getting them out of our country as soon as possible will go a long way towards fighting this crisis of fentanyl killing Americans, many of them unsuspecting they're even ingesting fentanyl?
Yes, Senator.
Another problem that is wreaking havoc within so many of our states and cities around the nation is the idea of rogue and radical prosecutors that campaign and get elected that they are going to fight violent crime. And so many times violent crime is tied to drug trafficking. And then because of their partisan agenda and their pro-criminal approach, they refuse to prosecute certain crimes, including drug crimes. Do I have your word? And do I also have your word, sir, that you will use every resource at your disposal to help those communities where their top law enforcement officer has abandoned them and dropped the ball and refuses to prosecute some of the worst in those communities in an effort to achieve some partisan agenda? Will you come in and bring the cavalry and the federal resources at your disposal to put away violent and dangerous criminals?
Senator, we will deploy every tool available.
Same, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Klobuchar. Thank you, Senator Moody.